Welcome back. All right, so there are some teams that are going to finish their season tomorrow. I'll be doing the preview for tomorrow's games tonight. And yeah, so we got 7 games out of the way tonight. We know 15 out of 16 teams that will be in the playoffs. We don't know all the first round matchups yet. Although, by my count, we know one for sure. And yeah, so kind of looking forward to that. And it's this result here that kind of sets that up. So Tampa Bay at home against Dallas, and Dallas tonight playing like a team that needs to win this, like a team that really understands that their lives are on the line here in terms of playoff lives. The shots were 3-1 in favor of Tampa at 3 minutes. They came out very well. However, Dallas would then take over. Alexiak from Heiskanen and Caro at 5:50, and it was a fantastic shift that led to that goal. Again, Alexiak is deceptively good offensively. Ron Francis of Seattle, take note, just in case he's available. So this, I know he's a UFA this summer. They also have the right to negotiate with guys before they pick him up, so he can sign a contract with Seattle. Stars fourth line pressed for a 2-0 score. There was more pressure for them 7 minutes in. They get a power play. That was a no, and that was their only power play of the night. There was over 7 minutes between shots for the Bolts. The Stars were doing a good job of forcing turnovers in this one. There was a late power play for Tampa Bay. That doesn't score. So we go to the second period. Tampa Bay gets another power play. That's not able to score. And then Pavelski scores from Hintz at 5:17. And then the Stars press for another after. So the desperate hockey that I've been searching for from Dallas on a regular basis, definitely there tonight. Cogliano then had a shot that was stopped, but Coleman on a really nice pass from Hedman. Goudreau started that play off. Coleman finishes it off on a breakaway goal at 11 minutes and 11 seconds. To their credit, Dallas does try to answer, and they do. It's Pavelski again from Hintz at 13:05. Nice steal by Rope Hintz, and that puts Dallas up 3-1. Gurianov then had a shot that was stopped. The Stars were pressing, and it's Rope Hintz who gets a goal from Kiviranta and Pavelski at 19:46. So Pavelski with some points, Hintz with some points, and it was a nice fast break goal in the last minute of the period. So Dallas is up 4-1. Third period, Sagan, fast break. That shot was saved, but Kiviranta would score to make it 5-1 from Pavelski and Ben at 3:49. So Joe Pavelski really racking up the points. And McElhinney was down on that one, and it kind of went under him. It was just one of those ones where he was down kind of doing Snow Angels, and you kind of knew it was going to go in. Palat then was down. Lindell gets some heat for that, and he boarded Palat, and rightfully Tampa came to the defense of their player. So Bolts would have the power play on that, and they score. It's Barre Boulet from Palat and Killorn at 8:29. So Palat directly influences the result of him being boarded with the power play assist. However, that's as close as Tampa gets. That's right. Dallas wins this one 5-2. They go to 22, 18, and 14. Tampa Bay drops to 36, 15, and 3. They will face the Florida Panthers in the first round of the playoffs in the first ever Battle of Florida. We've never seen it. We're going to see it this year. Shots in this one favored Dallas in the first 11-6. Tampa in the second 14-10. Dallas in the third 10-7. Final shots 31-27 for Dallas. Power plays Dallas 0 for 1. Tampa 1 for 4. Hudobin saves 25 out of 27. McElhinney saves 26 out of 31. So if you're curious, Dallas, they now have 2 at Chicago. Nashville has 2 at Carolina. They need 1 point. 1. The problem is Carolina kind of owns Nashville this year. Tampa Bay has 2 at Florida. So if Tampa Bay can win at Florida, they can clinch home ice. If Florida holds home ice now, they also get home ice for games 1 and 2 of the playoffs, and so Tampa and Florida can get sick of each other properly, and that'll be quite the playoff series. So yeah, it's not over. I could see Dallas winning both in Chicago. I could see Nashville losing both in Carolina, but also Chicago's played really well against Dallas, and they're playing spoiler. So they showed against Carolina they can do it. They're going to try to do it against Dallas as well. We'll see how things go. All right, next up, Philadelphia playing spoiler tonight. But, again, with the Caps tonight, it just felt like the emotion wasn't where you'd like to see it. And maybe they aren't all that interested in finishing first in the division. I don't know why not. I would rather right now play the Islanders, I think. Things are kind of changing. The funny thing is that, as a Bruins fan, I'm looking at Washington right now and I'm going, okay, so Ovechkin's out of the lineup. They're kind of a one-up, one-down team right now. That might be a really good matchup for Boston, so we'll find out. And yet, playoff series, Washington's done well there. Farabee scores from Hayes at 144, and that was the first shot, and it went in off Vanacek. So it was kind of a bit of a lucky play, but hey, Farabee takes that. That's his goal, right? Shots are 5-2 for the Flyers at 5.5 minutes, and then Karlsson almost puts one in his own net shortly after that. There was no sustained pressure by the Capitals. It was a fast, pretty light-hitting first period overall, but then Sprong scored from Mantha at 16:19. This one counts. Sprong had scored earlier, but they deemed that to be that he kicked the puck into the net, and Mantha stole it on this play to get it to Sprong. So very nice play by them. Mantha anticipating the defense passing it behind their own net and saying, I'll take that, and he puts it in the net. So it's 1-1. Then, right around the horn, Aubé-Kubel was denied. So Philly almost makes it 2-1, but we go to the second period with it tied. And then Allison, who has been very impressive for Philly, from Lindblom and Aubé-Kubel at 4:19. And I have to say, a Philadelphia logo next to Allison, it reminds me of Ray Allison when I was a little kid. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, that works. And it was a nice shot by Allison. Roofed it. Power play then for the Flyers. That was a no. Caps get a power play. That was a no. Connor Sherry, he got hurt. Looked like it was his leg/knee. He would exit there. Shots were 8-4 for the Flyers with 6 minutes left. The Flyers then on a delayed penalty. It's Allison again from Myers and Van Riemsdyk at 14:45. Now, Karlsson almost answers. Hits a post. Inside of the post. Very close. But Oshie would answer from Dillon and Eller at 18:51. So that makes it 3-2. So we go to the third period. In the third period, Sherry to Eller nearly connects. So Sherry did come back into the game. Sherry to Eller nearly connects. Orlov hit the post as the Caps were pressuring. Caps seemed to have more jump in to start that third period. They were seeking the tie. The Flyers had a chance that went wide from Philippe Myers. There were a few whistles in that third period. A lot of continuous action, which again, Philly loves that, right? Farabee then had a chance that was stopped. Elliott denies Backstrom. Goalie pull with a minute and 40 seconds left. Karlsson had another chance that was denied. With 43.5 seconds left, the Caps call a timeout, but Couturier would hit the empty net from Van Riemsdyk and Elliott at 19:29. So Van Riemsdyk with a couple of helpers. Philly wins this one 4-2. They go to 24, 23, and 7. Capitals drop to 34, 15, and 5. And Pittsburgh looks like they're on their way to probably winning the division and probably playing the Islanders in the first round again. And the Caps could face the Bruins, and it's not the first time those teams have played each other either. So the shots, 8 apiece in the first, 12-11 Washington in the second, 10 apiece in the third. Final shots 30-29 in favor of the Caps. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-2, Washington 0-1. Elliott, 28 saves on 30 shots. Vanacek, 25 saves on 28 shots. And there you go. So, again, if I'm a Caps fan, I have to at least be concerned about what I'm seeing here. But we'll see. Detroit. So I'm wearing Detroit. Like I said, in these reviews, I want to wear jerseys of teams that I know aren't going to make the playoffs when they get wins. And Detroit, probably not going to make the playoffs. Oh, yeah, right. They can't make the playoffs. Just kidding. I know this. And I think Detroit knew this all along. But this was a nice comeback by Detroit tonight. Because Bayreuther scores from Foudy and Line at 1:43. And that was the first shot. That's Bayreuther's first goal as a Columbus Blue Jacket. Again, remembering him from his limited time in Dallas, I liked him as a good fill-in defenseman, and hopefully he gets a regular job in the NHL. Slow start for the Wings. Good start for Kivlenieks when he is tested. Del Zotto nearly makes it 2-0. Hronek had a shot that was blocked. Columbus gets a power play. The Wings would press with 4 minutes left in the period. Greiss then stopped a shot from Robinson before that period's over, but it's 1-0 Columbus after one. Second period. First minute, Columbus had a chance. Columbus had the jump early in the period, and eventually they'd get a goal out of it. Gerby from Robinson and Gavrikov at 7:48. So, it's 2-0 Columbus. Detroit struggles to score goals. You think it's probably done. However, They get a power play, and Veleno with his first goal in the NHL from Vrana and Hronek at 13:50, and then it just the floodgates open for Detroit. First is to Kaiser from Brome and Rasmussen at 14:48. Believe that's Brome's first assist in the NHL. Good for him. Vrana from Panik and Filppula at 16:52. That's 3 goals for Detroit in 3 minutes and 2 seconds. And then Gagne tries to get a goal. He was stopped. Wings get a power play in the last minute. So you go from 2-0 Columbus, right around the halfway mark of that second period, to 3-2 in favor of Detroit. Third period, Columbus pressed at the 3-minute mark. Bjorkstrand ends up hitting a post. Grice robbed McInnes. The shots, though, with 7 minutes left, were 8-4 in favor of the Wings. Columbus will only get one more shot in the rest of the game. Gagne had a chance it was stopped. There's a goalie pull with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and this is where the empty netters show up. First, it's Nemesnikov from Gagne and Filppula at 17:58, and then when they pull the goalie again, it's Nemesnikov from Filppula at 19 minutes and 12 seconds. Detroit wins this one 5-2. They go to 19-27-9. Columbus 17-26-12 with that victory. Detroit now jumps back over Columbus in the standings in the race to see who might draft higher when we get to July. So, June is in the draft lottery on June 2nd. Shots, 12-11 in the first in favor of Detroit, 11-8 in the second in favor of Detroit, and 13-5 in favor of Detroit in the third. Final shots, 36-24 for Detroit. Power plays, Detroit 1 for 2, Columbus 0 for 1. Gray saved 22 out of 24. Kivlenieks saved 31 out of 34 at the other end of the ice. So, rare start for Kivlenieks. And, for Columbus, it is yet another night that Elvis is going to want to have, just Men in Black right out of his mind. I don't know that we have those flashy dealies yet. It's only a matter of time. It's 2021. We're going to get there. All right, next up, Anaheim. The Ducks doing a pretty good job of playing spoiler, and I really thought they were going to win this tonight. I did. There were points where I went, wow, Anaheim's actually going to knock off Minnesota tonight and make life difficult for them. Gibson stopped Hartman early in this one. The shots were 3-1 for the Ducks at 4 minutes. They came out very well in this game. Terry and Raquel were denied then on back-to-back chances. There was a second wild shot at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So it was all Ducks, pretty much, for that first half of the period. And then they're rewarded as well in the first half of the period. It's Comtois from Zegras at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. However, Minnesota answers immediately after that. And it's Rask from Kaprizov and Zuccarello at 8:06. And it was Gibson that ends up turning the puck over that leads to that. And it was just pass, and in the net. Rask with a nice goal. And then Sturm, before the period's out, he scores from Benino and Bukestad at 18:26. And then in the final minute, the Wild continue to press for more. Things get kind of scrummy at the Ducks net as well. But we come out of that period with it 2-1 in favor of Minnesota. Second period, early chances for the Wild. The Ducks pressed at 3 minutes. The Wild iced it to try to relieve the pressure. No harm, no foul at that point. There was then a near miss for Kaprizov at the other end. But Adam Henrique scores at 6 minutes and 40 seconds as Victor Rask had fallen down in front of his own net. These things happen. You lose an edge. And so Henrique with the goal. That makes it 2-2. And this is right where I thought, Anaheim really wants to spoil this tonight. The shots were 10-3 for the Wild with 9 minutes to go. But again, is Gibson capable of stealing a game? Absolutely he is. And he looked like he might do it through parts of this game. Fiala then tried a pass over to Johansson that would have ended up in the back of the net, but it just couldn't quite get there. Soucy breaks up a Ducks chance then at the other end. The Wild would get a power play late. That was a no. In fact, there was a shorthanded chance for Heinen. And then there was a Wild buzzer beater that ends up going wide. So coming out of that second period, it's tied at 2. Third period, early saves by Gibson, as again, he looked ready to steal one. Power play for the Wild, that was a no. In fact, there was a shorthanded break for Larson that ends up hitting the post. So many fans probably going, what is happening here? The Ducks then go to the power play, that was a no. Kakkonen then denied Raquel. However, it goes the other way. There's no denial for Eriksson from Foligno at 12:01, which occurred because Shattenkirk turned the puck over. It was one of those ones where Shattenkirk throws the puck and you're going, well, where's that going? Oh, to Foligno. Okay. So yeah, The Ducks then try to answer, and they do. At 14-14, it's Grant from Henrique. And yeah, so that ties it up. And then Derek Grant, shortly after that, he hits a post. So yeah, the Ducks are going for the win. 2 minutes left. The Wild will get a power play, and it's exactly 2 minutes left. So that goes to the end of the period. They don't score on it, so we go to overtime. Overtime does not last. The game-winning goal is Kaprizov from Eriksson Ek and Spurgeon at 17 seconds. I got some bad news for people who don't want Kaprizov to win the Calder. Kaprizov's totally winning the Calder. 4-3 is your final in overtime in favor of Minnesota. The Wild go to 34-14-5. The Ducks drop to 17-30-8. The shots in this one, 10 apiece in the first, 12-7 Minnesota in the second, 12-8 Minnesota in the third, 2-0 Minnesota in the overtime. Final shots, 36-25 Minnesota. Anaheim 0-for-1 on the power play. Minnesota 0-for-3. Gibson saves 32 out of 36. Kakkonen saves 22 out of 25. And that was a more entertaining game than I think the Ducks are going to be happy about. But just for me as watching the game, I was highly entertained. It was kind of a fun game. So, yeah. Minnesota still in the hunt for home ice in the first round. I do still think that's going to be important this year. I think finishing with a higher seed still matters. I don't know that all the other teams feel this way, but we'll see when the matchups happen which teams were smart and which ones may wish for a better fate after everything's done, where they say, if we'd won those last couple of games, we would have avoided that matchup and avoided getting taken out. Anyways, I need to change boards. Boy, St. Louis and Vegas. If this is a first-round preview, and it may very well be, by my math, Vegas has not clinched first yet, but they're very likely going to. I mean, I know that Colorado's got LA, and for Vegas, it's a little bit more of a difficult road, but I can't see Vegas losing first in the division. So, Golden Knights wearing their golden helmets tonight. I've discussed it before. I still think it looks goofy. But Henderson has it right. They have silver jerseys they wear with the silver helmets, and it works. So I've said this, but please, just the gold helmets go with the gold jerseys. Anyways. All right, so Binnington versus Leonard. That's a key matchup. This may be the matchup in the playoffs. Who are we kidding? Fleury's going to get that job. There's no way Fleury's not the starter for Vegas in the playoffs. Early chances for Vegas. The Blues were also getting some early turnovers, so it was pretty back and forth. And it was an evenly played first 7 minutes. There was a power play for Vegas. That was a no. The power play continues to be a bit of a concern for Vegas. Parayko then had a slap shot that was saved. And Smith opens the scoring from Haig and Carlson at 13-23. And then Vegas presses with 4.5 minutes left. With the lead, they do pressure. There's a late power play for Vegas. And then it's a shorthanded marker. The 6th of the season for the St. Louis Blues. O'Reilly gets it from Bozak and Falk at 18:08. And then Schwartz had a shorthanded chance as well. So very good penalty killing by the St. Louis Blues. Second period, Barbashev, who was really prominent tonight. I got to say, he's getting his hitting into playoff form right now. He threw a nice hit on Stevenson, and he actually hit him twice on that same shift. Perron then shot one wide. Vegas nearly gets one. But, yeah, and then on that play, Binnington was kind of run down. I had to pause there. Man, that car is loud. Anyways, so yeah, Vegas almost got one, and they ran over Binnington. And then the puck goes the other way. And the Blues end up getting the power play based on the goaltender interference, which I thought good because that was clearly goalie interference. Leonard saved a good chance for Hoffman. They would kill off that power play. That was the only power play St. Louis had in the game. That was it. Binnington then stopped a chance for Haig. Roy had a shot that deflected high and out. And Barbashev still throwing hits and just very good physical game for him. And if they do play against Vegas, you've got Ryan Reeves back in the lineup, they're going to need to be able to offset the physical game Carrier and Reeves are going to throw out there. Leonard then stopped a Wallman shot, but Perron would score from Sanford and Scandella at 14 minutes and 35 seconds. And it wasn't a great goal. It's one of those ones where they need a save. And then Schwartz would score less than 2 minutes later from Bozak and Shen at 16-18. And so now it's 3-1 in favor of St. Louis. And this is where, with Leonard, when he's on, it's fantastic. And when he's a little shaky, it can be kind of scary. However, 9 seconds before the period's out, Martinez scores from Stone and Stevenson. That makes it 3-2, and you could tell that was a huge difference maker right there for Vegas. Third period, Wallman stole one from Stone, of all people. And it was nice because Wallman spun all the way around and his stick knocked it off Stone's stick. Pressed by Vegas then at 3.5 minutes, and really heavy pressure by Vegas in the first half of this period. And eventually they score. Raw scores from Haig and White Cloud at 6:52. Blues would try to answer. Vegas would get a power play. It only ends up with one shot. Again, Vegas needs to get that power play in gear going into the playoffs. There was a post then for Jaden Schwartz, and with 5.5 minutes left, there were crazy opportunities both ways in this game. So we do end up going to overtime, but there were a lot of good opportunities. So in the overtime, Vegas would control it early. Kyrou nearly ended it a couple of times. Jordan Kyrou, if it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any recently. When it comes to the shots just not going in. Hoffman had a breakaway. That was denied. Robert Thomas had an opportunity shortly after that. That wouldn't go in. And then Marchessault. Marchessault ends it from Tuck and Leonard at 4:42. So Leonard, reprieve for him. He gets the assist on the game-winning goal. They win at 4-3 in overtime. With that point, combined with a loss here, St. Louis clinches a playoff spot. They go to 24-19-9. Vegas 38-13-2. St. Louis only can finish fourth now. It's a matter of who finishes first, who they play against. And it could be Minnesota, could be Colorado, it could be Vegas. By my math, I'm thinking Vegas, but we'll see. Shots, if this game's any indication, that series could be fantastic. Vegas outshoots them throughout until the overtime. They outshot them 10-9 in the first, 12-8 in the second, 10-5 in the third. In the overtime, both teams had 3 shots. Final shots, 35-25 for Vegas. St. Louis 0 for 1 on the power play. Vegas 0 for 3. Bennington, 31 saves on 35 shots. Leonard, 22 saves on 25 shots. And again, if this is your playoff matchup, that's going to be some fun to watch. Next up, Colorado. So the Avs in against the LA Kings. And it's one of the, I mean, you can't really have trap games, but it kind of felt like this was. Although Colorado, after the couple of games they had against San Jose, they shouldn't be falling into trap games right now. So they had the 1,000 point ceremony for Kopitar before the game. And it's always noteworthy of these things to see whether or not it takes the home team out of the game and maybe takes away their advantage. It doesn't. Brendan Lemieux scores his second as a King from Grundstrom and Walker at 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So it's 1-0 Kings. And they were the sharper team through the first 5 minutes of this game. They looked pretty darn good. Then there's too many Kings on the ice. The Avs get a power play and they score. Rantanen scores from Makar and Burakovsky at 5:49. The Avs then pushed after the goal, and they kind of took over after that goal. There was a late power play for the Avs. We would end up with 1 minute and 10 seconds of 4-on-4 play, but that doesn't end up going anywhere. So we go to the second period. Second period, first minute press by the Avalanche. Peterson was the one holding it at 1-1, and Peterson played very well. The score doesn't necessarily tell you the whole story. Peterson played pretty darn well tonight. But Jost would score from McDonald and Taves at 2:56. That is not a great goal on Peterson. Peterson made a lot of great saves. Probably wishes he had that one back. Then the Avs press for another. Byfield gets dinged on a shot block. Could barely skate, but he stayed in the game. So it's one of those ones where he gets dinged and probably just stung him and made his leg go a bit numb. And then he's fine after he walks it off or whatever he had to do. Nemeth then crashed into the boards. That was a scary looking play. Don't do that. Mata then had a fast break, but Grubauer makes the save. Grubauer wasn't really busy tonight. I feel kind of bad for him on nights like this where he doesn't have a whole lot of shots. Peterson denied Rantanen. He then denied Makar as well. However, he can't deny them all. Makar scores from Burakovsky and Newhook at 10:02. That is the first NHL point for Alex Newhook. Definitely not the last. The Avs were tripling the Kings in shots at that point in the game. The Kings get some chances with 2 minutes left. I believe it was a stick that caught Austin Wagner in the face. Stick or a puck. Either way, he may end up losing a couple of teeth at the front. So yeah, it's 3-1 Avs after 2. Third period. First minute shot for Doughty, and the Kings then had a 4-on-2. Grubauer makes the save. The Kings played better in the third period, but the Avs were doing their best to kill this off. Donskoy fires one wide. The Kings just weren't getting enough really good opportunities, and really they needed a lot of shots. The Avs get a 4-minute power play. That doesn't score, but it takes 4 minutes off the clock. There was also some power play time in there for Newhook. So one thing in a game like this, doesn't really mean a lot to the Kings right now. I mean, well, kind of did, but they had to know, right? They didn't think they were going to run the table and St. Louis was going to lose everything, right? So Velarde would score from Anderson, and that's Elias Anderson at 17:26. So that makes it 3-2. They pull the goalie with 1:40 left, and that's as close as they get. So Velarde hits double digits in goals this year. He's up to 10. Yeah, that's 3 goals in 2 games for him. That's about the highlight tonight if you're a Kings fan. They fall to 21, 25, and 6, are officially eliminated from the playoffs. The Avs 35, 13, and 4, and I felt bad for the Kings announcers because they said nothing's changed. The Blues lost tonight, so did the Kings, so the Kings can still make it. And I thought, yeah, but they got a point. St. Louis got a point, so they clinched. Shots in this one favored Colorado heavily in the first and second. 18-5 in the first, 13-5 in the second. In the third, LA actually outshot them 7-6. But again, 7 shots, they just needed a bunch of rubber at that net, and they weren't getting it. Final shots, 37-17 for the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado 1 for 4 on the power play. The Kings 0 for 1. Grubauer 15 saves on 17 shots. Peterson 34 saves on 37 shots. Good night for Peterson, but better night for the Avs, right? All right. Last game of the night is Arizona and San Jose. That's right. This is a game that meant nothing in the standings. Not really, unless you're looking at draft order. But, I took all the notes. I didn't just break the goals, and I took all the notes, including Carlson scoring from Hurdle at 3:47. So right away, Carlson off to a hot start. Power play for the Sharks. That was a no. Kozanosh denied bunting. Wouldn't deny him the whole night, but he denied him there. Sharks go back to the power play, but the Coyotes kill that off. Their penalty kill 2 for 2 to that point in the night. Leonard then crashed into the boards. That was ugly. Tonight was a night for guys crashing into the boards head first, and don't do that. Just don't do it. And you can write that down as a general rule. I know it used to be when I was learning how to skate, and I started skating really fast, and then I realized my stopping skill kind of sucked. And I'd start having these visions of I'm going to go head first into the boards. No, I never did, thankfully. But I always kind of envisioned I'm going to fall down and go head first into the boards. So there was no open space in the middle late in that period. Not a lot of really good prime scoring opportunities. And it looked like it was a game between 2 teams that aren't making the playoffs, to be honest, through that first period. Second period, the hockey got better. It got better in the second period. First minute, Osterley had a shot that was stopped, but then Timo Meier scores from Chekovich at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's Chekovich's first point in the NHL. So that made it 2-0 in favor of San Jose. And this is where you might expect Carolina, Arizona, who were just eliminated from the playoffs in their last game, to maybe they're going to have, just a meltdown or just, we give up. We're done. We're out. No, they didn't. First, it's Soderstrom with his first NHL goal. So Victor Soderstrom with his first NHL goal. See, I said it with both pronunciations, so I know I got it right. One of them's right. I don't care. People always correct in the comment section. I'm sorry. I don't really care. I pay attention to how the announcers say it. I know I see the comments and I go, yeah. So OEL and Garland with the assists at 4:49 on that first goal for Soderstrom. Power play then for the Coyotes. It becomes a 5-on-3. They had never scored on a 5-on-3 this season. They'd had 5 opportunities, 5-on-3, and they hadn't scored on any of them. Kessel was denied during that 5-on-3, and he was looking for point number 900. But they would score the 5-on-3 goal. It's Garland from Chychrun at 11:14. And as I said, that's their first goal in 6 attempts, 5-on-3 this season. Good for them. Sharks then killed the other penalty off. Late, there was a power play for the Sharks. Kane would hit the post, and then Kemper would cover in the melee that follows. We go to the third period. Yannick wanted his first. Jan Yannick. Yannick wanted his first. He doesn't get it, but he doesn't get it there. Spoiler alert. Don't read the board. Just don't read the board. Kessel scores for his 900th point from Dvorak and Goligoski at 4:53. You know what that means? It means if you're in Arizona, it means tacos. So free tacos. That's the third goal. And, Tyson Nash even said, we've got a lot of tacos from Phil Kessel this year. Damn straight you have. Kessel scores a lot of goals against San Jose. In 7 games against San Jose, that's his 9th goal this year. He loves playing San Jose. So the Sharks then scored, but it was deemed to be offside. They challenged it and took it off the clock, or off the scoreboard, and that would have been Carlson's second goal of the game too. Meyer then missed a prime chance wide, and then Bunting would score from Garland at 9:57. That makes it 4-2. So the Sharks, they pull the goalie with a minute and 40 seconds left. I think they would have pulled the goalie sooner, but Arizona kept it in their end for a while there. With a minute and 3 seconds left, the Sharks call a timeout. And then with 0.6 seconds left on the clock, Yannick gets his first goal, an empty netter from Brassard and Kessel. So Kessel with point number 901 to follow 900. He was sitting on 899 points for 4 straight games. So nice to see him get the 900th and then the 901st. 5-2 is your final in favor of Arizona. They go to 23, 26, and 6. San Jose 21, 27, and 6. Arizona will be rounding out their schedule tomorrow. So the shots were 9-6 San Jose in the first, 13-9 Arizona in the second, and 15-10 Arizona in the third. Like I said, the game really picked up as it went along. Final shots 34-28 for Arizona. Power plays 1 for 2 for the Coyotes in this game. Power play for Sharks 0 for 3. Kemper, one of his best starts since his return, 26 saves on 28 shots. Kozanosh, 29 saves on 33 shots for him. And again, for the Sharks, I don't know. I don't know what happens next season. I don't know what happens this offseason. I feel like something dramatic needs to happen with the Sharks in the offseason. Because if things stay the same way they are, they don't make a change by the bench or a GM, or they don't make any changes on the ice, I would think fans would be quite miffed at that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding these 7 games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And yeah, not too shabby. Tomorrow there's 14 games. As I said, I'm doing the preview tonight. And then on Monday there's 9 games. But this is one of my last busy days. Because once you get to the playoffs, it's usually maybe 4 games. And yeah, so there you go. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, because the playoff games are coming pretty darn quick, including Florida and Tampa. That series is going to be a lot of fun to cover. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.